All right, everyone, Alejandro here with your first REFI Watchlist update of 2026. So many of you are just joining on to the REFI Watchlist. I've probably spoken to you and mentioned that I was going to add you to this list. And so I wanted to give you some pretty good news. Recently, we heard an announcement from the Trump administration that they were going to direct Fannie and Freddie Mac to buy $200 billion worth of mortgage bond securities. Essentially, what that does is it stabilizes the market and it helps drop interest rates a little bit. But I want to make sure and separate that from the comparison that many are making to what happened during COVID. During COVID, the federal government, meaning the Federal Reserve, purchased about $1 trillion of mortgage bond securities. That's what caused what we saw in mortgage interest rates, where they, scorched down to the twos. $200 billion compared to $1 trillion is a huge difference. And so although we're going to see an improvement, it is not nearly going to be as big of an improvement as what we saw during COVID. So right now, if you are anywhere in the sevens or the eights, you should be looking to refinance. It's about the right time for you to do that. The national average is right around 6%. We saw it touch 5.99 for about an hour earlier today, but that 5.99 continues to be elusive, and we will see where rates, ultimately settle. Remember that starting your refinance application doesn't mean that we're going to lock you and close it and be done. But if you're in the sevens or the eights, you should probably get the application started so that we're at least sitting and waiting to strike on the rate that you feel is where you want to lock, right? So as an example, you submit your application, we have everything ready, we're starting processing and underwriting, we get an approval, but we're just sitting back and waiting. Together, we will determine what you think is the point at which you want to lock, right? So let's say you say, well, I don't want to lock until they hit 5.75. Great. Just sit back and wait. And then once that 5.75 comes, boom, we lock it, and then we close on the loan. And the reason that approach is important is because we have had clients that have wanted to start the process when the rate gets to where they want to be. And then by the time they finish the application and by the time we meet and by the time we, get things going, all of a sudden the rate is gone, just in a blink of an eye. And that has happened basically twice, 2 years in a row. Last year we hit 6.125. We hit 5.99 for again an hour. 6.125 we had for about 2 or 3 days, and then all of a sudden they went all the way back down to 7, and then we spent all of 2025 getting back to 6.125. So what we're trying to avoid is that situation where you miss an opportunity to jump on a refinance when the opportunity is just waiting for you. So anyhow, remember that a lot of people are going to try to convince you that it's the right time to refinance. What we're looking for always is that there is at least a 1% difference in your note rate. That is the minimum threshold for a refinance to make sense, in my opinion. We obviously want more than that, but that is the minimum. And it should also be available without having to pay extra money to get that rate. So that rate should be available without you having to buy points or having to do, any upfront expense to capture that rate on the refinance. If you have any questions and you want to get started or you want to start talking about numbers as far as it comes to refinancing, please do not hesitate to reach out and let us know. We're ready and willing to get started. But that's all I have for you so far today. I think that's it. Have a great day and a happy new year, and we will talk to you soon. Bye.